Hey guys, Brittany here, and as promised, I've got another book review. I just finished Seven Black Diamonds by Melissa Marr, and so I'm going to review it, hopefully before my computer dies. So, handy dandy notes here that I've made to try to stay on track. Already off track, so let's try to get back on. Seven Black Diamonds is about fairies, the kind that I like, and it's a set like pretty far in the future, and humans know about fairies and they're like outlawed. They're not allowed to be in our world and everything. And the Unseelie Queen, which the courts Seelie and Unseelie have been joined together, and the Queen of Blood and Rage, as she is called, Andelion, she is the queen, and she has set up these sleeper cells. And they're pretty much exactly how we think of a sleeper cell, like those Russian sleeper agents or whatever. They're pretty much the same exact thing, except for they are Fey blood, and they are raised as humans so they can kind of fight her war for her and take on the humans and kill humans for Fey, for revenge, for supposedly killing her daughter. Her daughter was lost at sea. She blames the humans for her daughter being dead and everything. Lots of in-depth stuff going on there. And I won't spoil it for you. But that's your basic setup. And this mainly focuses on the main sleeper cell. Like, this is the sleeper cell above all sleeper cells. And they're called the Seven Black Diamonds. That's their group name. And it focuses on them mostly. And of course some Fae. It focuses on some Fae in the Hidden Lands, as it's called. So, overall, get ready for this, guys. Overall, I'm giving this 3 3/4 stars. That's right, 3.75. Because I can do fractions or decimals if I want. This is my system. Anyway, why did it only get 3 3/4? Let's get into that. We'll start off with the characters. So the sleeper cells, obviously, there are 7 sleepers in this group. You have Lily White, Zephyr, Creed, Violet, Alchemy, Will, and Roan. And mostly you're focused on Lily White and Zephyr. The book changes POV through different characters, and those are the 2 sleeper characters we get POV from. So Lily, let's start with her. Lily White, aka Lily. I really like her as a character. First of all, she is the daughter of a crime boss, like, the mafia, like in the human world. Her human dad, who raised her and everything, is the crime boss, like the mafioso, if you know what I mean. Like, and I love the mafia. Like, it's one of my interests. Like, not real life, but like mob movies and stuff like that. So I love that. And the way she was raised and everything, she's tough and she's strong and she has her, free will and freedom and all that, and I love it. I like her a lot. Okay, then you've got Zephyr, and he's kind of like the complete opposite. He is strict loyalty to the queen, like blinders on, I'll do whatever I'm told to do. And he kind of gets on my nerves, and I'm not a huge fan of him. Some of the fairies mentioned. Ailey is the daughter of the queen also. She's the daughter of the queen. She's not the one that got lost at sea. She's a different one. And I kind of like her, but she's a little too political for me because, she's like, okay, well, this is how I really feel, but let's show this to keep Mother happy and blah, blah, blah. But I like her still. And her Torquil, I'm going to say Torquil, is another Fae. That's like her BFF. I liked him. He's a good, like, side character, kind of. I really liked him. And Reese. Reese is the son of Andelion, and I like him a lot. So, anyway, one thing about Andelion, the queen of Blood and Rage, is that she's not exactly how I think of Faye. Like, she is. She embodies it. Her name alone, you can tell. Queen of Blood and Rage. Yes, that's, fairies and all that. But you'll also see that she has this softer side for her family. And it's not like super bleeding heart or whatever. But she is very family focused, I think. That's how I saw her. That's how she came across to me. So I liked that about her. And, of course, her viciousness was, I like that too. So characters get a 5 out of 5. I did like the characters. Next is the plot. Okay? And the plot gets a 3 out of 5. And I'm going to start out by saying, what plot? What were we working towards here in this book? It's like, I have an idea of it, like, here's this cell, and this is what they were created for, and this is why they were created. And that's it. Like, there's no, oh, we're working towards this thing that we have to overcome. It's just kind of like, blah, 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 everyday life, this is what's going on. People falling in love, people having, little fights between themselves, whatever. There wasn't like a huge, this is what we're working towards. And a climax, okay? Like, your story is supposed to have a climax. What? Where? There was a fight, okay, there was a fight. But it was like this big. And it wasn't built up. It wasn't, we're building towards this fight. And, oh, big, huge battle, fight, craziness. And then resolve. It was just like, this is what's happening. Oh, there was a fight. Like, it wasn't that big. It wasn't that big a deal. It wasn't built up. So it didn't really feel like when the book was over, I just kept waiting. Like, I'm reading. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is, gonna get good. It's gonna get good. Something's gonna happen. Okay, and then I'm like, okay, nothing's happened yet. Nothing's going on. Okay, nothing's happening still. We're just doing nothing over here, learning our backgrounds, etc. And then, oh, there's a little fight. I mean, I don't know. It was not big enough for me, I guess. And this whole book just kind of seemed like a setup. Like, not like a, somebody set you up. But, like, it was just, this is all the prequel. Like, it's the building towards. It's not actually a whole story in itself. It's just the building towards something. That's what it felt like to me. And I'm going to be honest, I have not done my research, so I don't know if this is part of the series. I mean, I would assume it is going to be, but I honestly don't know. I hope it is, because if it's just this standalone book, then that's kind of disappointing. So, yeah. We'll move on to the writing style. Okay? Writing style gets a 3.5. 3.5 stars. And here's the thing. I have read Melissa Marr before. I've read the entire Wicked Lovely series. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. That's part of what formed my Fae worldview. Like, how I think of Fae. When someone says fairy, she is just part of the reason why I don't just picture Tinkerbell when I hear the word fairy. But, and I love the series. So I guess maybe I expected a bit more out of this. The writing style wasn't that great for me. Especially in the beginning, it seemed like very repetitive. Like I said, it's from multiple POVs. So like we were repeating the same facts over and over again each time we switched POV. And it was like, yeah, I know, I get it. And I understand, since you're switching people, they can mention something. But you don't need to mention it the same, have them recite the same exact 2 paragraphs. Each of them recite that. No. Oh, a mention to it, allude to it. But you don't have to repeat it verbatim every time, because that's just a waste of book. I mean, personally. One thing I liked and yet disliked, I said Lily was the daughter of a crime boss, okay? So they're last name is Abernathy. He has these things called the Abernathy Commandments, and you know, kind of a play on the 10 Commandments, but for the Abernathy family. And like they got repeated throughout. Like here, we're going to list some of them. Oh, this applies in this situation. Oh, but it also applies in this situation on the next page. Oh, the same exact one applies in this situation a few pages later. So we repeat it over and over and over and over again. Like, I get it. I get it. Abernathy Commandment number 5. Be bold. I got it. I know. I know that's what she's trying to live by. Be bold. You don't have to repeat it every other page when something happens, because I understand. You mentioned it a few times. You can stop now. So I don't like repetitiveness. And then there were things that just kind of were like, we're just going to say this and expect everyone to know what we're talking about. We don't have any build-up. We don't have any explanation. We don't have any reasoning. We don't have any follow-up. So it was kind of, you know, like just, it honestly, this is a thought I had when I was reading this is, oh, it's like this was a transcript that she wrote way before she wrote the Wicked Lovely series, and it never got published, but now that she's a big name from that series, she could get it published when it's, you know, it was written really early in her career and wasn't as good as what came later. That's honestly my thought. I truthfully have no knowledge about when this was written or how she wrote it, or if she was rushed by her, you know, publisher to meet a due date or whatever. I have no idea. But it just wasn't as good to me as the Wicked Lovely series. It wasn't written as well, if you ask me. And there were some things about the way that the Wicked Lovely series was written that wasn't exactly my cup of tea, but still I find this a little worse than that. But still good. It's still a 3 3/4 stars. Do I recommend this book? Yes, because it's good enough. It's not good enough that I need to warn you away from it. Or it's not bad enough that I need to warn you away from it. It's still a good read. It's still, you know, it's fun. It's fun to pick up and get through and be like, oh, you know, fairies and all this stuff. Like, I liked it. But when I sit down and think critically about it for review purposes, I have to be honest with you guys, and I can't just, you know, say, oh, I liked it. It was good. You know, I have to be honest and tell you what I did and didn't like. Again, I don't know if it's part of a series, but if it is, I'm definitely going to continue it. Because, I mean, I have to know, like, what happens after this point. Yeah, it was wrapped up and things ended, and it could possibly end right here, and it wouldn't ruin my life if it ended right here, right now, and we didn't get anything after this. If this was standalone, it wouldn't ruin my life. Would it be helpful to have some follow-up and some other things happening after this? Yes, it would. So hopefully we get that. And I'm sorry this is going so long, but I'm done now. So that was 7 Black Diamonds by Melissa Marr. So it's a very pretty book cover, by the way. But anyway, thank you for watching and listening, and I will see you guys later. Until then, remember to smile, Starshine.